Hello everyone. So today we'll be dealing about the genetic code. You know what is genetic code? What is genetic? What is code? Genes, they are present in our body. They are present inside the nucleus and they are in the form of A, T, G, C. They are the mixture of the nucleotides in any random sequence. Now, how come this random sequence give rise to a particular protein? How could a gene give rise to this hair color or the hair or the texture of the hair or the texture of the skin, or you can see the height of a person? If we notice our body shows various changes going on. The synthesis of the hormones inside, the synthesis of the enzymes inside. Now, what is that which is coding that? What is the essentiality of each and every nucleotide? And each and every nucleotide is basically responsible for forming a sequence known as an codon-rich sequence. Now, codons, they are the group of the nucleotides. The three nucleotides joined together result into the formation of a codon. Now, are these codon of DNA or RNA? They are of the RNA sequence. The DNA which was transcribed due to the transcription now needs to be translated to form the protein. So for formation of that protein, the RNA sequence which was transcribed needs to be modified, needs to be utilized for making a polypeptide, for making a peptide, for making a protein. Now, who gave this knowledge of formation of this protein? How could the scientist or how could this world know that there are the codons present? It was a scientist, Nirenberg. Nirenberg, he was the one who stated out the genetic code. He took various nucleotides. When the nucleotides they were discovered, he took the nucleotides in different test tubes where he added the same residue nucleotides in the test tubes. For example, he added U as in uracil. This uracil was a polyuracil linkage was formed inside the test tube. Now, when you realize after addition of the amino acids, the phenylalanine amino acid, it joined together. It formed a network of or a polypeptide of phenylalanine joined together. They stated that somewhere U sequence will be responsible for secreting the phenylalanine. Similarly, the A sequence was added, the A nucleotide was added in a different test tube, then the G, then the C. Then AU combination or AG combination or GAC combination. So different combinations they were added to find out how these codons work. And then came our Indian scientist Hargobind Khurana, who also participated or who also was involved in this particular the formation of the genetic code. For this genetic code, if we talk of, they are basically the nucleotide sequences. The nucleotide sequences which are actually responsible for making up of the protein. As we all know that the DNA replication and transcription, it occurs in the nucleus. Now this transcripted mRNA needs to go to the cytoplasm, where in the cytoplasm the ER or the ribosomes, they'll come inside the ER. The ribosomes, they'll get attached over the ER and will lead to the formation of the protein. Now, how that ribosomes are assigning the other molecules to get those amino acid, that is the procedure of translation. And for that translation procedure to occur, what is actually needed is to know which gene is or which mRNA sequence is going to help or which is going to form that particular codon or will code for a particular amino acid. For that, if we see, we have the words as in the codon formation. Codon formation, why we say that the three nucleotides are responsible for the codon formation? Why not one? Why not two? Why not four? See, if we take one nucleotide for coding for one amino acid, we have a total of 20 amino acid. So if I have one nucleotide coding for one amino acid, in that case, we'll have just 4 amino acid to be coded on. If I talk of two nucleotides, so for two nucleotide, maybe AT, AC, AG, or AU. Similarly, TA, TC, TG, TU. Sorry, T not. So in that case, whenever we talk of two nucleotides, then the combination that could occur is 16. For a 3 nucleotide, we have 64 combinations. So now this 3 to the power 4, the 3 nucleotides. And now if we go beyond, then the combination will be very high, but the combination so resulting in will not lead to the protein formation. So that is why the genetic code was considered as a 3 nucleotide sequence. For that 3 nucleotide sequences, how these nucleotide sequences, they were forming that particular, they were coding for a particular amino acid. Here we can see. Here you can observe that the U and a U sequence, the 3 U joined together, they code for a phenylalanine sequence. They are responsible for the coding up of the phenylalanine sequence. But how come we say that this codon, the triplet codon, is going to be read on? What are the characteristics that are needed for these proteins to be worked on to know that these sequences, they will be forming the protein? That these amino acid sequences, they are formed when there is a comma-less reading of these nucleotide sequence. If I have an mRNA, that mRNA will be read like AA, U, C, A, G, A, T, U, G, 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 C, A, U, A, A. There will be no comma. So it's a triplet codon. And whenever this mRNA is going to synthesize a protein, it will have an initiator codon. And that initiator codon is always an AUG codon. AUG is a starting codon which is responsible for the coding up of a methionine gene. MET is responsible. Here you can see this AUG, that's in start codon. The start codon, it codes for methionine. So first sequence says, the first characteristic of genetic code says that the genetic code is comma-less. The genetic code always has an initiator codon, and that initiator codon is a methionine codon. While there are 3 codons which will actually stop. In a long sequence, it is not like that amino acid, if a continuous strand is there and every amino acid will join and result into a protein formation. No, there are some regions in the mRNA which will be, stopping up the process of translation. And those are UAA, UAG, and UGA. UA, UGA, and UAG. UAA, UGA, and UGA, UAG. So UA, UGA, and UAG are the 3 genetic codes or codons which are responsible for stopping up of the translation. Where methionine, it starts the translation process, while the UA, UGA, and UAG are responsible for stopping up of the translation process. Now for this translation process to go on, there is another characteristic of the genetic code, that it is comma-less, it is universal. Say it amoeba, say it human being, say it an elephant, say it a crocodile or a tortoise or a plant. For everyone, U will code for phenylalanine. The CUA will always code for a leucine gene. So in that case, this is a universal code, except for in case of mitochondria and chloroplast, which could be a alteration in some of the codons, you can say. Then the 2 important factor, that it is unambiguous and it is degenerate. Unambiguous and degenerate, the 2 words specify that. See, if you see phenylalanine, this phenylalanine is actually coded upon by UUU gene, UUU codon and UUC codon. Now, one amino acid can be coded upon by the two codons. Here you can see leucine coded upon by so many codons. So one codon could be coded up by the many codons, and that is degeneracy. That means what is important is the first two genes, the first two nucleotides, they are important. But if we talk of the leucine, if I say the leucine is coded by CUC, now CUC is going to code for leucine only. It will not code for isoleucine. It will not code for methionine. So for any new codon, the synthesis of a amino acid is very unique. But if we talk of an amino acid, one amino acid could be coded up by the many codons, but one codon will be responsible for the coding up of only one amino acid. The methionine is always a start sequence, and the UAA, UGA and UAG are the stop sequences. So for a code to be learned of, you have a very good criteria. You go with U here, and at an end, you can write UCAG. Just get the U from here, then U. Then you will be having U, then U, then C, then next one. So by adding this, you have the UCU sequence. Again U, then C, then you have A, and the last one sequence from the G1. So this way you can make the codons. And one important factor here, you can see that this particular codons, the characteristic of codons says that it is non-ambiguous, that it has an initiator codon, then the codons, they are degenerate, they are universal, they are comma-less, there is a starting codon and a stop codon. So for everything to be noted on this, we have to mark the genetic code. Without the genetic code, the translation could not occur. So this is a very important factor to learn on, which can come as a 3 marks question in the board exams. Thank you so much.